Welcome back to the Fred Minnick Show. I'm Fred Minnick, brought to you by San Francisco World Spirits Competition. I'm here with someone I'm a huge fan of, Lindsay Ell. Lindsay, you absolutely crushed it out there at the main stage at the Hometown Rising.
Thank you.
I think when you bent over backwards and were playing the guitar, I was like, wow, first of all, she does yoga.
Thank you. I do yoga. I love yoga.
I mean, like, my kneecaps like popped.
Oh, whatever.
Watching you do that.
Well, my yoga game is about accurate to your suit game. So there we go. We can meet in the middle. Your suit, Fred, is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a seersucker. It's very famous here in Kentucky, and you're not supposed to wear it after Labor Day.
I've never really endorsed that rule. Like, I wear white pants after Labor Day all the time. So I guess, rules are meant to be broken.
Who comes up with these rules?
Right, exactly. Like, why can't you wear white? You can't wear white in September? That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
We need to trace whoever did that.
I agree.
And then, knock on the door.
I agree. And be like, we need to have a little conversation.
And what's up with your hate against white pants?
Yeah, come on.
White pants
White
Mondays.
pants don't hate you.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean...
White pants Mondays. I would like that, actually.
White pants Mondays and Taco Tuesday.
Done.
Those are things.
Done.
So... what I love about your career is that you've kind of created your own fan base. You didn't wait for a record label to come to you.
No.
You just kind of brought it.
Yeah, I'm from Canada originally. I grew up in Calgary, and so many of my friends would sign Canadian record deals, and then they'd come down to the States to try to sign deals down here, and they just couldn't get a record deal because they already had everything signed away. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to sign a record deal. I'm going to wait till I move to the States. And I bought a 15-passenger band van, and I drove that thing everywhere. Like, I drove it across the country so many times, and then eventually went to LA for a few months and ended up in Nashville. And shortly after, I traveled around the city a little bit. I ended up signing my first record deal, and now I've been living in Nashville for 9 years. So it's home.
And you were quite the sensation on the social medias and and the YouTubes and everything.
I love how social media and YouTube and podcasts and all of these forms of how technology is changing really fast have really changed the way we interact with people, with celebrities or artists or musicians, and everything's so fast. Like, you can record a song and have it across the world within days, even minutes if you're really organized. But it's just insane how quickly, like, releasing schedules and even just promotion happens. And I kind of love it that fans can know that it's actually you speaking to them. Like, I spend probably 4 to 5 hours a day just talking to fans.
Wow.
And I love it so much. Like, I love being able to, hear what they like and what they don't like. So yeah, it's definitely changed the game as far as, like, approach.
But also it makes you a little bit more vulnerable. Like we were talking, we just had JD Shelburne on the podcast, and he was talking about how he's had some really tough stalkers. Yeah.
I've actually had a few of those, and I've actually never talked about this. I thought I'm still a new artist to most people, and I'm like, I've had a couple of instances where we've had to get security, and I had to go to court, and I had to issue a restraining order on somebody, and these were things that I never would face. And even friends of mine, which are far more famous, have never had to do anything like that. And so I was like, what is this? Like, it was just not something that I understood at all. But it got to the point where I was scared to walk by a window in my house because I thought somebody was going to be standing outside of it.
Wow.
And I had to change my address on absolutely everything. I had to move, actually. And it was just like, there are moments, like, I, to a fault, love being close to my fans, but there are moments where it's like, you got to figure out, I guess, where to draw that line a little bit. And yeah, stalkers are scary. They're really scary stuff.
Especially on your trajectory. I was talking to a booking agent earlier today, and there was a comparison made of you to Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. That
you are that you have that potential as a star.
Is so, man, I'm kind of speechless hearing you say that. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I
just saw you out there, and I'm thinking to myself, you got a little bit of Janis Joplin in you.
Thank you. I love that. And yeah.
You got a little bit of, you got a little Reba McEntire.
Amen.
You got a little bit of everything. You could play anything and I would love to see you play more guitar.
Yeah. Hey, don't tempt me with the guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. Playing live is just something that I've always, I grew up on the stage, so I feel at home playing live shows, and they will never get old to me. I mean, I played when there were more people on stage than in the bar, and where the carpet was so sticky because of everything that's spilt on it, and we've just played in every room imaginable. So to get to come to a festival like Hometown Rising and play, and everybody came out early, and we're so excited to see the music, and it's just like these are festivals why we do this.
Yeah. Is there a different mentality for, cutting a song in a studio than on stage?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the songwriter part of my brain is one part, the studio is another part, and then playing live is a completely different part of the brain. And I honestly look at them as like three different things. Playing for the studio, that's going to be concrete. So whatever you put down, that's going to live forever that way. Mm-hmm. And you can say a lot more by doing a lot less in the studio. Like if you have 5 instruments on a record, if you're very careful with how you say what you want to say, you don't really need to do a lot. Like, at least I've found, like, sometimes space is the best thing that you can give a song. Live is a completely different story, and as a player, I love being able to, like, bring a song arc into a whole new world. A lot of times for the radio, we need to keep something around 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It needs to kind of stay in that window. But live, as a musician, it's endless. Like, I would rather play 5 songs in my set and make them all 8 minutes long compared to playing 12 songs in my set and making them 3 minutes long. Because I feel like a live show is about moments, and it's about creating some things so that when somebody's watching, they feel it. And sometimes you need to build that up with intros and outros, and some of my favorite performers are so good at it. Like, it's just about taking your time to create emotion, and make people feel things, whether it's happy, sad, celebrating something, making them want to cry.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking them on the journey with you, from the song itself.
I almost feel like too, like the world in which you live by the headphones is coming a little bit more toward what you want on the stage.
Yeah.
In that radio is not dictating to me as a consumer what I'm listening to.
It's crazy. It's crazy how fast the world is changing, and the way we internalize music, the way we even discover new artists is really changing every single day. It's changing so fast too. It used to be the only way you could find out a new artist is by listening to the radio in your car. Yeah. And now, there are streaming services and DSPs and YouTube, and there are so many ways to discover new music that it's almost like everybody uses something different. And in a way, for an artist, that's so exciting, because it means that, all right, while I'm working a certain song to radio, I can also be releasing new music over here, and I can also be working on streaming stuff over here, and I can also make weird, crazy YouTube videos and put new music over here. And so I can be working like 5 different things at once compared to just focusing on one arm.
So you have the capabilities of doing 5 things at once.
I'm a girl, so I love multitasking. I'm just like, if we can get this egg in this basket and this egg in this basket, then I'm a happy camper.
That's awesome. I also feel like, today, like, the power is in the artist's hands, whereas like 20, 30 years ago, a musician did not have the power.
I agree. And if anything, like these new streaming services have given musicians so much more of a voice, of which certain genres would have never had a chance on radio, on terrestrial radio. And now you're seeing bands like Street Dive. They're like this really cool like blues kind of like funk band. Even like Tedeschi Trucks Band are like one of my favorites to go see live. And I mean, you wouldn't really hear that stuff on radio. I mean, maybe some of the smaller like AAA or blues stations, but to be able to have that music flourish and really find its own fan bases, it's cool. It's really cool to see.
That's awesome. So one of the things I like to do is I like to pair to people's palates.
I love this.
You have an eclectic taste of music, and even more eclectic in terms of what you can perform. I'm still fascinated by your level of talent.
Well, I'm fascinated by your knowledge of bourbon. Can I ask you what got you interested in bourbon? Like, why bourbon?
Well, so, normally I have a very canned answer for this, but I got recently, Louisville Magazine did like a 10-page feature on me, kind of like
10 pages.
Yeah, it was really intense, and they had some like incredible photography to go with it, and it kind of made me this guy, like I've had stories written about me before, but no one had ever dug into my past like this guy, and he interviewed people I went to war with. Wow. And I was really nervous about this story coming out, and I was really moved by how much people thought of me, and especially my military brethren and sisters.
Yeah.
And basically, my story begins when I'm in Iraq. It really is. Like I would not have came here if I didn't go to Iraq. And I was always a bourbon fan. I actually had people ship me bourbon.
Really? I was going to say,
like empty Listerine bottles.
Did they have bourbon in Iraq? Did they let you have some on the...
Yeah, our orders were that we were not allowed to drink.
Okay.
But
that's what I would have thought, but yeah, you figured out.
Like we listened to rules.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Hey, you're fighting for the country. Yeah. They gotta bend the rules a little.
But you tend to take on the rules of the nation, and in Iraq, where we were, was not allowed. Alcohol was prohibited.
Right.
So I get back from Iraq, and I really couldn't get a job. And as a writer, as a photographer, I didn't have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I took this job as a food editor, and that food editor job, I eventually wrote about alcohol, and then I decided to go out on my own as a freelancer. I wrote my first bourbon article in 2006. It was published in 2007.
That's so awesome.
And it just kept going, one after another.
So cool.
And then I started my own magazine with a publishing partner called Bourbon Plus, and I got a Amazon Prime show. I became affiliated with Damian Wimmer Presents.
That's incredible. We
co-created Bourbon and Beyond. I mean, just all these little things that bourbon kind of led me to. It really begins with, some of the worst moments of my life. And now I'm here. So
life comes full circle.
It really does. And now I get to pair a bourbon for you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and based on how you answer them, I've got a pretty full bar here.
You have an amazing bar here. Well, I'm like, dang.
I'm packing a little bit, but it's not. It's still. This is very small for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm used to having 4 corners just packed.
Really?
Yeah. So but what I have here is I have some good tools of different flavors.
Okay.
That I think will fit your.
After you pair one to me, you need to tell me about your favorite. And I know it's probably really hard to choose one.
See, as a critic, it's difficult. I don't have a favorite per se. I have the highest rated. Now I have my go-to bourbons. I have my house bourbons. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
It'd be like asking me to choose a favorite guitar. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, choose a favorite guitar or your favorite person to sing with.
Yeah, that's so hard.
And I know you sing with a lot of people.
That's so true. That's so hard.
You got to hurt someone's feelings to say it. Say the truth.
That's true.
All right, so let's start. Do you like cornbread or pie crust more?
Oh my gosh, these are so hard. Pie crust.
Okay. Do you like to have a fried pie, or do you like to have the kind of pie that's baked and there's not a topping over it?
The second, baked, not a topping.
Okay. So like a pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
All right. So now,
love pumpkin pie.
do you like nutmeg,
Yes.
caramel,
Yes.
cinnamon?
Love cinnamon. I cook with cinnamon so much.
You cook with cinnamon a lot. Okay. Now, do you, in terms of like spices, do you like pepper or do you like baking spices? Baking spices being more on like the clove side.
Baking spices.
Cloves,
spices. Allspice, ginger.
Do you like bananas?
Love bananas.
Okay, so we're gonna have that cream of Kentucky right there,
Oh
right
my
behind
gosh.
the camera.
Bananas. Whoa. This is
Did you hear me say throw it?
No, I
No,
didn't.
I
But
mean-
it made me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is like a $300 bottle too. So
Woo!
yeah.
I mean, the minute you said bananas, I'm like, hey, bananas in my bourbon. Sign me up.
Yeah. There's like a really prominent banana note here.
All right.
And it has all those other notes we kind of discussed. It's quite fascinating what this is. Now this was started by a gentleman who is Cream of Kentucky was actually like a real prominent brand back, way back into the 30s and 40s, and Norman Rockwell actually did like these series of paintings in celebration at Cream of Kentucky.
No way.
And they're beautiful. Some of them look a little weird now because we viewed things differently back then.
Yeah.
And then we do today. Like, you would not get a picture of an old man eating a chicken, like a close-up.
That's
today.
true.
Like, no one wants to see that.
Where are the paintings now?
They were mostly published in like Life magazine, so you could find them like just in a simple like Google image search. But yeah, some of the photos are kind of borderline creepy.
Gotcha.
But or paintings anyway. And so Jim Rutledge was this famed distiller. He was the master distiller for Four Roses, and he left. He retired and decided to come back and start another brand in Cream of Kentucky. And so this is his stuff. And this is this bourbon is 11 and a half years old.
Wow.
And I think you'll get a lot of those notes in there. And when you taste bourbon, so I'll just do a quick little tutorial for you. When you smell bourbon, you want to bring it to your nose and open your mouth a little bit. So by doing that, you're actually not taking on the brunt of the alcohol.
I totally smell bananas.
Yeah. All right. You got it? All right.
But only when I open my mouth. That's so crazy.
You get more out of it. When you do it with your mouth closed, you're basically, the alcohol is just kind of punching you right there on the nose. And so you have to like relax the olfactory a little bit. And so you smell it, get the bananas. I'm getting some vanilla. Definitely get the banana. There's some vanilla there. There's some like oven, like coming out of the oven, like pie stuff. Anything you're getting?
I mean, it's like banana bread coming out of the
Nice.
oven.
Does this remind you of a song at all? Do you smell this? Can you think of a song?
That's a good question. I mean, like Sweet Home Chicago. I don't know why. It's
Oh, wow. I like that. Sweet Home Chicago.
It feels good. It's warm and inviting.
So here we go. Let's taste.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's good whiskey.
It's so smooth.
I really
Wow.
do. Yeah. So that is
Cream of Kentucky.
102 proof. Yeah. Could you imagine?
Not wasting any time.
Yeah. And here she
Dang.
goes. She's going back in.
I'm
She's
going
like,
back in.
she really likes it.
Banana bread fresh out of the oven.
Banana bread fresh out of the oven.
I mean, who doesn't want to have that?
People who don't like bananas. Yeah, I know they're out there.
True.
They're out there.
They're
But
out
you
there.
don't find people allergic to bananas.
You don't?
No, I've never met anyone.
That's
I
true,
know
actually. I've never met anyone.
People are allergic to like
bananas
all
either.
kinds of nuts, apples, but never bananas.
That's true.
Maybe that means we should eat more bananas in this world.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or drink more Cream of Kentucky.
Yeah, that could be all of this is a scarcity bottle. There's not a lot of them out there.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you travel around with this many bottles? Well, how do you pack them up so they don't all break?
Well, I was going to say because How do you pack them up so they don't break? I got good people.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean,
like I got boxes.
You totally have good people.
And like if people kind of know me for bourbon, so it's like it's just assumed. Like I'm at my kid's soccer game, and someone's asking me if I have any bourbon on me for the game. Actually, I did not. I did not bring any bourbon with me.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess people would just assume that you.
People just always assumed I'm
ready.
I'm always ready to go. But I will tell you too, Lindsay, that you kind of stumped me. You know, I don't get stumped. Like you asked me that question, I'm like,
Thank you.
My jaw dropped. I'm like, wow. I wasn't ready for that.
It's my goal
I have never been asked that question.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. I mean, it's a valid question.
It's a great
Very
question.
impressive. I mean, I travel around with a lot of guitar pedals, and they get ruined all the time. And so I'm like, this is very commendable of you.
So I had Lark and Poe on my...
I love those girls.
They're awesome,
They're
right?
amazing.
I had them on my Amazon Prime show, and they've lost like 3 or 4 steel guitars like in the last year because of airlines. I think it was British Airs, but...
Don't even get me started.
Really?
In the course of... So I was in LA recording guitars in Hollywood, and it was late. I was actually recording guitars at Babyface's studio. And so we were like right in Hollywood and walked out of the studio. It was like 12:30, like just past midnight. And walk up to my car. And normally I never leave stuff in my car. Like I'm pretty good with it. Mm-hmm. But I just had a long day of sessions. And so I carried my laptop and my guitar into the studio. And I left everything else in the car. So car gets broken into. My backpack got stolen. My driver's license, my wallet. I had like a little synthesizer. My whole backpack got stolen. And then right after that session, I was getting on a plane to New York to play one radio show. To then get on a plane to London. And thankfully, for some reason that morning, I had taken my passport out of my backpack and put it in my jacket. And I never do that. But I had my passport, a laptop, and a guitar to my name. So I'm like kind of freaking out. And I go to the airport. And thankfully, I had my pedal board and suitcase back at the hotel. So I get to the airport. And I'm like, I lost like all of my wallet, my driver's license, my everything else. And so I'm sitting there and get on the plane, go to New York, get off the plane. Then my pedal board gets lost. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just a bad 12 hours. You know, surely they'll find it in the system and then send it to the hotel or whatever. So I have it for London. But they never found it. And they still to this day haven't found it. I guess somebody might have took it like from the little oversized belt or whatever. So I lost $12,000 worth of gear in like 15 hours.
So what do you do? Like, how do you...
It was frustrating. I
really borrow from other artists?
Sent my manager on a nice rampage to Guitar Center with like a shopping list of. But I had my whole. I was going to London on a solo tour, so I had my whole show programmed on this synthesizer that got taken, and so I like sent my manager to Guitar Center to pick up like a few things that I could like kind of get by on. But my whole show was gone, so I get to London and I'm just like, well, I'm starting from scratch. But thankfully, the fans over there are so amazing and wonderful. And like the minute I went on stage, they were singing so loud that I was like, well, I don't even need programming at this point. So the tour ended up going great. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to be prepared to lose things sometimes.
Yeah, it's at the game. Like you just,
it is, yeah. It's just like the rule of if you let people borrow money from you, just expect to never get it back. You just like, if you check something on a plane, half of you kind of got to expect that you're never going to get it back.
That reminds me, Jeff Shipley, you still owe me rent
from
our senior year in
college.
Dang. And I know you're a VP in construction now, so... Pay that up, Jeff.
Well, the time has come.
I know, right? There's interest too, and I feel like I should cash in. But this going on the road fascinates me because you have these fans, and you deliver every single time with a smile. Apparently, yoga moves on with the guitar and everything, and it's just I don't know how you do it. How do you stay so engaged?
I mean, I get to wake up every day and do what I love, which I hope you feel the same looking around this room. But it's just crazy to be able to call this a job. I mean, last year we tour a lot. Last year we played 235 shows.
Wow.
We were on the road 280 days.
Wow.
And, you know, with travel days and everything, I mean, I was in my house just a little bit over a month. And like, I wouldn't change any piece of it. I just don't take it for granted. I remember days like crying on my bed, praying to be this busy. And now that I'm this busy, I'm like, there's never going to be a day that I'm not like, I want this so bad. Cause I remember what that felt like praying just to be on the road, playing shows, playing for fans, and to walk out earlier today and see thousands of smiling, screaming faces out there. Like, that's what I live for. Nothing makes me feel the way that standing on stage with like a vibrating guitar next to my body, playing songs that I've written in front of a crowd singing it back to me, like nothing makes me feel that way.
That's awesome. And you're so talented.
Thanks.
This is my talent, I guess, is drinking bourbon.
Which is an incredible talent.
I mean, someone's got to do it. And I like to ask people about, like, what was their first drink?
Yeah.
What was your first drink?
I mean, don't laugh at me. I mean, everybody's first drink is like so lame. But my first drink was actually a Long Island iced tea.
That's not bad.
That's not as bad,
That's not
right?
bad at all.
It's like,
you know,
not a Smirnoff Ice or something. Yeah, my parents love Long Island iced teas, and yeah, that was just like their staple in the house for a long time. So
nice.
I was pretty young. Knock on wood. The first time I tried.
We hear that sometimes, but of course, you know, we mostly all wait till we're 21.
Oh yes. Well, since I'm from Canada, drinking age was 18.
That is true.
So
Y'all's laws are much better than ours.
I did get to start a little bit earlier, but yeah, that was my first ever drink. What was your first drink?
I think it was like Coors Light. You know.
I mean, that's understandable.
It was Coors Light. Now, what do you drink when you're on the road?
So there's always a slew of bourbon on my bus because of my band, but I either usually drink tequila,
nice,
or red wine.
Listen, those two will always be accepted in my home.
Really?
Yeah. What will not be is vodka.
Really? Why?
Oh, vodka's the devil.
Why?
It's evil.
How is it evil?
Well, see what vodka did to bourbon in the 1960s was it basically knocked it out. And so when people started drinking vodka, bourbon went away for a lot of people. And
totally the devil.
And so that's why I hate it. And to me,
tequila doesn't threaten bourbon.
No, tequila complements it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's actually tasty. It's flavorful. The actual definition of vodka is odorless and tasteless.
So how does that sound good at all?
Well, the reason why vodka makes it actually did not even have a federal definition until the late 1950s.
That's crazy.
I know, they got a definition, and it was odorless and tasteless, and then people would drink it, and they realized that they could drink vodka, and people wouldn't smell it on their breath. So they would go out on like these 3 martini lunches, turn to 5 martinis, and these alcoholics would just drink vodka all the time. And to this day, when you walk into a liquor store, what you will find is there is a sea of vodka right there. Stand in the liquor store for 12, 15 minutes, and you'll see people coming in real quick, buying it, going in the parking lot, drinking it, and leaving. It is not. It is a quick. It's a quick drink for them. But
that's crazy.
To me, vodka is the devil. So
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
So my manager loves bourbon. Mm-hmm. He really loves Blanton's.
Oh, okay.
So let's say I want to buy him a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Of something a little bit different than Blanton's.
Okay. Yeah.
But in that same palette.
Okay.
What would you recommend and why?
Well, Rock Hill Farms, if you can find it. I don't have it here, but Rock Hill Farms is one that is in that same kind of wheelhouse. Okay. Made from very similar recipes. Just hit me up. I'll get you a bottle of Blanton's or Rock Hill Farms.
So
whatever you need. I got you. I got you back.
And I have another question. How do you study recipes?
how do I study the various recipes in whiskey?
Yeah.
So it's all by grain bills and ages and distillation techniques. That's what my book, Bourbon Curious, is really dedicated to, is just like how everybody makes their bourbon. And I just listen to it, and then I taste it, and I kind of like see the similarities in the taste profiles, and I match it up to like how it's made. But there's a lot that we still don't know what kind of like creates the taste. One of those is yeast. Like yeast is necessary for fermentation, and distillers all kind of like live and die by their yeast. And I think that it does a lot more for the flavors that I can pick up than most people will give it credit for. So yeast is a fascinating. So just like making bread, the yeast is pertinent to the whiskey.
That's incredible.
Well, I tell you what, this has been the most tables turned episode I've had.
I like it.
You're like, maybe it's because I fanboyed out a little too much.
I mean, hey, you can fanboy any time.
You did say you like interacting with your fans.
I do.
So
yes.
I'm a big fan. I love what you do. I love your guitar. I love your vocals. I think you could do a cappella. So anytime
Thank you for watching
lose your
show. That meant a lot.
Absolutely. I got to go backstage.
Yeah, you did. I mean, with that suit, you can go anywhere you want.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. Cheers to you, and what an incredible career you have. And I cannot wait to have you back in Louisville, and I hope you'll do another one of our festivals sometime.
Done and done.
And so that's it for this episode of the Fred Minnick Show, brought to you by the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. But I'm not going to lie, I'm sad it's over. I could talk to you all day, Lindsay.
Hey, anytime you want me back, I'm here.
Right on. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I got to get you some whiskey. We got something.
Done. Okay.